You know, Draymond Green put the force, if you will, on the Cavaliers and the fan base in Cleveland, basically saying that they weren't smarter than a fifth grader, if you want to read between the lines. He doubled down on that conversation today.
Draymond, do you ever see the stuff that you say and say, maybe I shouldn't have said that?
Absolutely not. Because everything I say, I know what I'm saying. When I say something, I've thought about what I'm going to say before I say it. So, no, I never look at something and say, man, I shouldn't have said that. Because I'm a lot smarter than people think. When I say something, I've already thought about I was going to say it, so absolutely not.
So I know emotions were running high the other night. What's the gain of bashing Cleveland fans?
I didn't bash them. I just gave my thoughts.
Well, saying they're not sharp is bashing.
Well, they booed me and you know, they thought I had a tech I didn't have, so that wasn't sharp.
But it was on the box. I mean, everybody thought you had that tech.
I knew I didn't, so maybe I'm just a little sharper than others then, huh? I don't know. But they played hit the road, Shaq, and I didn't have to hit the road, so I didn't think that was that sharp. But maybe you thought that was sharp.
Well, I was looking at the box score.
I was looking at reality, and I knew I wasn't ejected, so.
All right, here's the reality. Unless you're a Cavs fan, you got to love Draymond. This was a weird scenario. Referees Association come out. They know that they made a mistake here. But I want to go 3D to the fact that, speaking of pressers with Draymond, we saw earlier in this series where he got a little bit mad, and KD at the same press conference next to him, about having so many questions about him, you know, freaking out. I'm not going to lose my mind. Almost like he was going to turn into like a wolf, like Teen Wolf. But we saw some of the wolf during the course of this Game 4.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of wolf and howled a little bit. But I go back to Game 1 when Draymond said, I've learned my lesson from last year. I know how to be my own self. I know how to play with passion because this is who I am and who I've created. But now, we know Draymond Green, and I believe he's not going to cross that line this year, Isiah, to get his team in trouble because he knew what happened last year when he missed Game 5. They could have closed out. Now, I don't think he makes that same mistake.
And then you go back further when Draymond was interviewed at the start of this series, and he was talking about how he wanted to play, you know, mind games with Kevin Love. So he's very calculated in knowing what he's doing and how he's talking and what he's saying. You know, in that particular case, in terms of him being ejected, he actually was right, you know, and the officials came out, the league came out and apologized and everything else. So he was right in that instance in terms of, you know, he shouldn't have been ejected. He was fighting and, you know, talking about how he shouldn't be ejected, but at the same time, he was. So the mind games that he's capable of playing, he has already let everyone know that he's very calculated. And thus far, you know, if you look at what he's done with Golden State since he's been here, he's been pretty clever at doing what he's doing, and they've, you know, the wins kind of show for themselves.
You know, one of the staples of this team during the year is how great they were defensively. Now, it's hard to say that anybody could play good defensively the way the Cavaliers were shooting, but they also passed the ball around well. When you look at it, a lot of talk 3D today from the Warriors about how badly they played defensively. Did you look at it that way, or was it more so just how well the Cavaliers shot the ball?
Well, I think it was a combination of both, and I think Steve Kerr hit around the head. Kyrie Irving in games 1, 2, and 3, he became a bop, one-on-one guy, which we love. This Game 4, he was more of an attacker along with LeBron James, so now the defense had to give up something, so they started worrying about the drive, and then those guys started sharing the basketball. Coming out of timeouts, I thought Ty Lue done the best so far in this series of getting executed, drawn up plays, not just selling for the one-on-one, and I think that's what caught Golden State off guard in the half-court set.
What kind of changes need to be made, though, based on what you saw, Z?
You know, I think when you look at the defensive effort, it really is there, I think, for both teams. You know, when you go back and you critique it. I am in absolute awe of the shot making that's going on in this final series. When you talk about, you know, just basketball playing and the distance and range that they're shooting from. Hey, I've won 2 NBA championships. I've been in the finals. I understand the pressure, right? These guys in pressure situations, pulling up from the hash mark, leaving it, bam, throwing it off the glass, dunking it. I mean, we in the NBA Finals, and these guys are playing that. And I said this to Kyrie Irving, you know, it's like what he did in Game 4, under pressure, they weren't easy shots. And he's taking long range shots. They kicking it out to him, and he's at the hash mark with 19 seconds to go on the shot clock, 3D.
Yes.
And he, Curry, Thompson, Durant, LeBron James. I mean, they putting on offensive shooting exhibitions like no other. Like, you just haven't seen this in the NBA Finals. So, you know, I'm one of the old guys who played in the 80s and everything else. But let me tell you something. These young jokers and the shots that they're making and the shots that they're taking, in our day, we weren't taking these kind of shots in these type of pressure situations. These young bucks are doing it.
Well, look,
I mean, they're really doing it.
I got to let the people in at home know, the guy all the way to the left here, you made some shot making earlier today.
I made a couple of 2-3.
But we'll get into that another time. Steph Curry's been doing that during the course of this postseason. Guys, his numbers have been the best overall, but the three-point field goals, that's as low as we've seen it. And this is another case where I feel like everybody goes to the negative. I'm sitting there, you tell me, I'm watching the game. The team defense, the trapping, the way they approach Curry seemed to be completely different from the first 3 games.
Key word you said, a phrase, team defense. When Shumpert comes in the game, he's all over being physical. I know one time LeBron James kind of chucked him and knocked him down and got a foul. So now he's no longer running free throughout the lane. They're putting a body on him. They're checking him now. And now he's looking for it. Well, I thought in the first couple of games, Zeke, he was coming off the screen, not being touched, being able to get to his three-point shot. So now all screens, pin downs, any action, they're making sure they're putting some wood on, like we say back in the day.
Yeah, not only are they making sure they put wood on them, but they also following Ty Lue's, you know, encouragement. You know, both these teams really do have to play perfect defense, right? They have to play perfectly against each other out on the perimeter. And if you give them any airspace out there, right, it's 3, it's a bucket, it's a drive. So what Cleveland did in the last game in terms of taking up that airspace, paying attention to detail, not missing the trap situations, not missing the switch situation, they had to execute every single time. So now it's become a game of concentration. Which team can concentrate for 2.5 hours without making a mistake on the defensive side of the ball?
Nobody.